Another welcome to Prime Sport. Mirazak Musbao. Now tonight, Ghana's boys and girls team have advanced to the semi-finals of the ongoing Under-15 CAF Inter-School Championship, which is currently happening at the University of Ghana Stadium. Well, for the boys team, they defeated Algeria by 3-0 to secure their slot in the semi-final. The girls team also defeated Malawi by 3-0 to top their group and advance to the semi-finals of the competition. But first, Ghana's Black Comets versus their counterpart, Algeria, where they won by 3-0.
Not in the dangerous areas for them. They need to get into their half, the final third, and head them.
Oh, what a hit! And what a way to take the lead! What a ferocious strike! And it's the chop in the 15 jersey. Jemfi with that real stinker to beat goalkeeper Benson out. Festus Jemfi, you've got to watch it again. Look at the power, look at the panache. And Benson that strike beyond limit, but he cannot just palm it away.
You know, most of the games they've played, the two games or the last game they played.
Beautiful play, and it's onto the front foot of the player in the 19 jersey. Yes, and Kuma, and it's in! Ghana win their second, and it's Ankuma. What a hit there from the left back. And Algeria in trouble in Tatas here, and the fans will celebrate. Benson Benada absolutely is in a big trouble. Just watch it again. All the attempts beating Algeria have been outside of the 18-yard.
That's very clever from the Ghana team, because Algerians have always been pushing back in the name of defending. He's giving Nkrumah, is showing great sense of judgment, which area they will have to risk. They've done and very composed.
Ghana still disturbing the final third of Algeria. It's turning big opportunity. Aquahega! And the man who came in the second half, Ghana's big man, has just found the third one. And the man who was a top scorer, Ghana.
Add some goals to his records.
Well, he really was spotted by that brilliant work again from the far right-hand side with the player cutting in. Went past Algerians. He failed to hit it the first time because Ghana in Malawi's final third. This is a big moment.
Yes.
Ghana scores. And it's the lady in the loving shirt who scored yesterday, Jennifer Wuku. Once again a score for Ghana. And the crowd will celebrate.
I think they heard me.
Exciting stuff, isn't it?
It is.
Just watch the goal again. Belt inside into Malawi's penalty box. It looks everybody. And that's Jennifer Wuku. Simple job beyond Rhoda Peter. But a lot of credit to this young lady. Kisiwa.
Of course, from one end.
Malawi. A riot. And this team against some of the toughest opposition on match day one in Uganda. Ghana, big opportunity! And Ghana takes the lead. And finally, she has a goal.
Tevia, right?
It's Tevia, and look at the celebration. Absolutely crazy. And the stadium going wild at the moment.
Goal for Ghana. Goal scorer, Margaret Akusha.
Excellent view of how it feels to be here at the stadium, Coach.
I like the way they play, you know, and try to create chances. Indeed, this is a chance created by as a team effort, you know, and of course Tevia smart enough to be around that position to score.
Well, just look at it again. Curled in by Jennifer, the first goal scorer, and goalkeeper Rhoda Peter out of her own penalty box, punished
Jennifer went in deep and gave an assist to take.
For this Malawian defense. And the question is, can they really keep this Ghanaians at bay? Kadri, Ghana looking for the turn, and it is in. Ghana with the attempt.
Themselves there, winning 3-0 against Malawi and qualifying for the semi-finals. My colleague Lawrence Bedu monitored the event today. The University of Ghana joins me via phone. Lawrence, with the Black Comets and Black themselves, winning, what next for them now? They're not qualified to the semi-finals, but when are these games going to happen, and who are their likely opponents in the semi-final?
As you rightly said, yes, both Ghana's boys and girls are in the semi-final of the competition, and it doesn't get any easier because for the girls, we know they'll be playing the defending champions of the category in South Africa, who finished second in Group B. The boys are likely to come up against Cote d'Ivoire, who also finished second in Group B of the boys category as well. So that is how the schedule is looks like at the moment. And these games are scheduled to take place on Friday at the University of Ghana Stadium, where the competition is being played.
But we just, at least in the highlights, we saw a little view of the attendance. What's been your assessment of it? I think for the last 2 or 3 days that the competition has been taking place in the University of Ghana Stadium. Have Ghanaians really turned out to patronize their youngsters' football?
I think as far as attendance is concerned, I thought it was a better one on day one of the competition as far as the games is concerned, because we had most of the students coming in, SHS students coming in to watch the games. As on day two, which is today, it was more of the locality, people of the community, and some football fans tripping in later in the day to come and watch the second round of games and the final group stage games that took place. But in the early part of the day, where we had the sun, coming out at full force, the numbers in the stadium didn't look too encouraging. But we believe it's because it was the group stage games heading into the final semi-finals and the final round of games. We are likely to see the attendance increase with every match that will be played here.
Laurie, just finally though, I know you've been speaking to the coaches and some of the players. What have they been telling you as far as the expectations for this tournament is concerned?
For the Ghana team, it's all confidence. From the coach right to the players, and on both sides, both the girls and the boys. For head coach Kweku Danso, who is in charge of the boys under 15 team, he tells me their focus is just one to chase the ultimate, one that it's a debut competition, and they would love to do a host and win. For the girls, you are thinking that Joy is to play for the final group games. But then she didn't, and she made 1 or 2 changes, but they still went ahead and picked up their biggest win in the competition so far. And she said, look, their 3 performances has been a message to their opposition, to whoever they face in the semi-finals, that this team is not ready to give up, and this team is ready for any opponent that they will face in the remainder of the competition. Well,
Lawrence, thank you very much. That's Lawrence Bedu, a colleague at the University of Ghana Stadium, who's been monitoring the tournament. But come Saturday, big event will be happening at the Accra International Conference Center. Is the election, an elective Congress for the Ghana Olympic Committee. And ahead of that, the president of National Paralympic Committee, Samson Dean, has put out a rather strong warning to the committee ahead of the elections, particularly to the contestants, against maligning each other in their quest for power. Now, the committee, of course, will vote to select new leaders at that elective Congress on Saturday, and according to Samson Dean, it's important for the contestant to prioritize decency in the process leading up to the election.
If you go to FIFA, they have issues, but you won't read them out there. If you look at how Coventry was elected, not that Zimbabweans did not have things against her as a minister of sports. They have. I've met people who know her very well. She might be hard, she's disciplined, she's that. That is her style. But we have a difficulty in Ghana where we just believe in maligning, blackmail, and all that. And I will urge the contestants from the Ghana Olympic Committee that after election, what else? The brand and how you people are so determined to destroy each other because of election. You are destroying it. I saw how people ganged up against Benunu Mensah just because they feel they have to contest an election. He says he won't do again. He sits aside. He allows you to take it. But he is hurt. If you listen to the allegations and all manner of things, purely, we all know there are no truth in them. But we have allowed it. Some media people feel, okay, let's go against him. Some also say, let's support him. But when we are done with the election, what is next for Ghana Sports? And that is Olympic. We have other people, which some of you are very much aware, in the Paralympic movement. There are people who also have an entrenched position just to malign, line, blackmail, and do all manner of things because they feel that if Samsudeen is there, they won't get the opportunity. When even they have not even tried to approach me to see whether what they want to do, I will give them the chance to do it or not. Because of perception or whatever, they will just be lying. They get opportunity, and sports people are not using the least opportunity that we get.
Well, really interesting take there by the president of the Ghana Paralympic Committee. Well, the contest is expected to be a very intense one. It's going to be contest at the office of the president, also contest at the secretary general position, contest at the third vice president position. There are a few unopposed ones, like assistant secretary general, second vice chairman, first vice chairman, a few unopposed. But another portfolio that we're going to see quite an intense competition is the position for treasurer. We're expecting it to be very intense because the president of the Ghana Tennis Federation, Awajidua, is competing for the position of treasurer. Also is the president of Ghana Badminton, and he's also the vice president of Paralympic Committee, Evans Yabua. He is also vying to become the treasurer of the Ghana Olympic Committee, and Evans Yabua is in still with me. Evans, thank you very much.
Pleasure. Pleasure.
Amazing. You're the vice president of the Ghana Paralympic Committee.
Yes.
You're the president of badminton.
Yes.
And also hear that you were the chairman of the finance committee of the Ghana Olympic Committee.
Yes.
That's wealth of experience.
Yes.
First of all, let me just get your take on what Samsudeen said about the need for decency in these elections.
I think that is quite clear. What the president of the MPC has shared aligns with what the core value of campaigning that we have all aligned ourselves with. At the end of the day, you still have the Olympic brand to protect. And for me, that is extremely critical. There will be maligning, there's allegations, there's misinformation and all of that. Just stay focused to all the message that you need to share. Tell the delegates what you can do and what you bring on board. And I think that's very clear in all my messaging the last few weeks.
I mean, talking about your messaging, we're going to come to that very shortly, but just help us appreciate how important this elective Congress come Saturday is for the future of the Ghana Olympic Committee.
We are at a triumph, having started being a member of the International Olympic Committee since 1956. We have grown bounds and bounds, and now is the time to be able to leap onto the next Olympic Games, which happens in LA in 2028. Coming back from that, we've been Commonwealth Games participants since '66, and that has also modeled us as a country. So you have a new government in place, and you need to be able to get things moving in terms of seeing an agenda of getting things resetted. If you look at the conclave of all the delegates, our sport is moving to a particular path, which is needed that the right leadership and governance is provided across this journey. And that's why you see that delegates are at the forefront of all of these things. Coupled with us, the last 8-12 years, we've had 2 acts in Parliament. So you have the Sports Act, you've had the LI as well, 2477, and they've profound new things that is embounding on the sports industry. And that for the delegates, and in terms of leadership, it's quite clear of what everybody sets out to do.
Amazing. Then let's see how the Office of Treasurer is going to help in, realizing the ultimate objective of the Ghana Olympic Committee, for which you want to occupy that office. Tell me, why do you want to be the treasurer of the committee?
I come from a background of finance. I have been a chartered management accountant all my life for 20 years plus. I come from a stronghold of being a servant of the Olympic family the last 12 years. I began my career with the Ghana Olympic Committee as a vice president of the Ghana Olympic Committee. I climbed up to be chairman of the finance committee, having involved and served for 10 years on the African badminton as chairman of finance. So in terms of finance, it's been my bread and butter from day one. And Congress members will always tell you that each time that accounts and financial matters needs to be discussed, it's Evans Yeboah that is always called to be able to deliver. And we've delivered that through experience that we have shared.
I mean, what have you identified to be the challenge with funding? I'm sure because your office will be dealing with that a lot.
Yes.
Trying to get funding. What has been the challenge as far as funding is concerned?
Our messages to the delegates is very straightforward. It's threefold. So grants is number one. So there's going to be an increase in grants. Number two is going to be an increase in glory. And number three is going to be an increase in growth for the national federations. Look, we have 40 national federations who are shareholders of the Ghana Olympic Committee. Among all of this, you have 26 of them in the Olympic sports, and you have 14 in the non-Olympic sports. So largely, the Olympic sport seems to devote and concur all the things that needs to be done within the Olympic family and Olympic values. What I bring on board is that in terms of growth, they are going to see massive growth in terms of new communication and branding tools that they are going to use to enhance their national federations. So you're talking of website. In the country right now, out of all the national federations, you've got 9 federations who have websites. Only 3 of them are functioning well out of the 9. And this is going to evolve because all the 40 of them are going to have a website that is going to be linked and information is shared across the main GOC website. Again, if you look at grants, I'm going to increase grants by applying certain grants that we should have had and certain grants that we can maximize. And because I have been there before, having chaired the finance committee, having been vice president, I know and understand all the grants that we need to be able to apply for, thereby maximizing the little grants that these national federations will use to support their athletes, support their governance, and all of that. The third is about workshops for coaches and technical education. If you look at it, we've never had such a long time of coaching and technical education, massively in a scale which brings administrators together, which bring experts in education and athletes' career together. These are things that I will enforce. Apart from the general view in the Constitution, which says that the Treasurer is responsible for all financial matters, among all of this, I will support the other executives in accomplishing the bigger manifesto goal that we seem to climb from Saturday.
Amazing. I mean, for the delegates who are watching, obviously, they will be probably smiling because the idea of increased grants is good news for most of them.
Yes.
You are the president of badminton, and you appreciate the constraint that comes with funding and all of that. But you've been also interacting with the delegate. We're just about a day to the event.
Yes.
What have been the message you've been picking from them? What have been the message?
The message has been very clear and very practical. It's not nothing too ambiguous. And these are the basic things that they need and basic things that I can be able to support it. Another thing which is important for them clearly is how they'll be able to carve out their sponsorship message to the corporate world. And this I bring on board very fruitfully because I'm a corporate person. And in line with that, there will be networking events which enshrine them and align them to be able to match with the corporate. Again, if you look at all of these, it's being financial reporting regularly. So they're now going to have regular reports because now we're going to have communication beefed up in the office and the secretariat. And then basically these reports will transform them and they would advise us also how we should carry on the path for their own organization.
I mean, I just had to bring this in because we had a conversation with your opponent in this Awajdia, and he is, of course, the current deputy treasurer. And he says, you know, having served in that portfolio for 8 years, he feels that he is the right person to take over.
I think that if you look at this squarely, the things that needs to be done are things that we are providing. It's not just the office is empty, so go and provide it. What we are saying is that on my side, it is maximizing our grants. So whatever grants level that we've been able to achieve, I will be able to maximize it better. The next thing is that we'll be able to bring growth among all the national federations with all the 2-3 things that I've shared about things that we can do for the national federations. These have sung well with the national federations. And for me, the delegates are very, very happy about us and what I have done. And I said I've done this before, and I've been at a high pinnacle, which he has not even attempted.
Interesting. really interesting. We're expecting it to be a really exciting elective Congress come Saturday. Joy Sports is going to be there. The entire team is going to be there, and we'll be covering it comprehensively on all our platforms. All right, so you can follow us all on all our platforms for all the update. But just before we wrap up, though, let's just talk a little bit about badminton, because that's our home, and
yes,
we can. I mean,
yes,
we're in the first quarter, of the year so far. What's the plans looking like for your federation?
Too great. Look, let me tell you, this year for the first time in Ghana, we are going to host, and we've won the bid to host 5 global tournaments this July and August. So if you look at it, we are hosting the Africa Air Badminton Championship, we are hosting the Africa Under-15 Championship, we are hosting the Africa Air Badminton Under-15 Championship, we are hosting the J.E.A. Wilson International Series, which is an Olympic qualifier for both juniors and seniors. So for us, that has been our trademark in terms of coaching education. We've been doing very well. Last month, we just graduated a total of 38 coaches across the country. And this was held at the Botiman facility. Again, we've been able to do 2 of our national championships within this year. So for us, it's a flight that we are climbing, and we've also qualified again for the World Championships, which we've qualified consistently the last 4 years. So for us, it's game for us at badminton, and we are ensuring and making sure that all our delegates and basically all our constituents are doing well with the sport of badminton and keeping up with what we need to do. Again, if viewers will recall, last month we also gave 100 scholarships to Ghanaians across all the primary schools that we have across the country, so which we have been doing every blessed day with our international federation.
And just to clarify, what form did this scholarship come?
The scholarship is an online education with a university in Australia. So the athlete is able to have 4 hours per week of education. So it's online, and you have a total of 3 years to graduate. If you graduate earlier, the better for you. So you get a certificate, and then you move to the next level, you get a diploma.
Amazing. Let's just finally wrap up on the...
And it's all free.
And it's all free. Amazing. Yeah. Really, really great initiative. So how many delegates are expected to be at the...
63.
63?
Yes.
And how many votes do you have to get? Or you have to get 50
You just have 50 plus 1.
50 plus 1?
Yes.
And based on your contact with them,
yes,
looking positive?
45.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. So you heard it here on Prime Sports. 45. That's what... Evans, your boy, is saying. Evans, wish you the very best come Saturday.
Thank you.
We need to go, but final message to the delegates, then we just...
Look, we have been there before. We've done massive things the last 12 years that we've been there, and I come on the forefront of you that these are things that are practicable. These are things and initiatives that we can be able to help and bring together. Finance is a very technical area. You need somebody with the experience to be able to manage that particular department, and that's clear.
That's clear. That's Stephen Seboa. He's the badminton president, the vice president of the Ghana Paralympic Committee, and he is also an aspirant for the office of treasurer, the Ghana Olympic.
I was also the former treasurer for the MPC.
And also the former treasurer of the MPC, so well-versed man there. Well, that's all we have for you on Prime Sports tonight. We'll be back same time tomorrow. Thank you very much for your company.